So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And this is about my thoughts on Ryan Barnes, a asexual, aromantic, detransitioning cis female, basically coming out to give some of her experiences transitioning and then detransitioning from a trans male to a cis female. The last thing that I just listened to was the end of her opinion on Planned Parenthood. And at the beginning of the video, she was saying that she didn't really have a high opinion of Planned Parenthood. At the same time, she did take the responsibility of transitioning on herself. That was on her. But she did think that it shouldn't be, all right, I don't want to put it in the wrong words. She thought there should be more regulation. And initially, before I heard the end of her story, I was like, because she thought at the same time that it was good that it was so easy for trans people to get the hormones to transition. If it was right for them, it was not right for her. But she thought there should be some more hoops to jump through because it was a permanent thing, and there should be somebody there to say, are you sure about this? On the one hand, I completely agree with her idea that she had a horrible experience. She did have a horrible experience at Planned Parenthood. They were not very professional there. Not that somebody was rude, but the way that things were supposed to go, like she was supposed to have a 3-month prescription for her testosterone, but she wasn't. She was getting a 1 month, and then she'd have to go back to them to get another month and another month. And at the same time, she was also supposed to have her testosterone monitored, and that was necessary for her to continue to get her prescription. They didn't tell her about that, and they did not give her the testosterone when she needed it because they didn't arrange for her to come back in to have her blood tested, and they didn't give her the proper prescriptions, so she had to go back to them. They scheduled her for the wrong type of appointment, so she had to come back on a different occasion. They did not give her the results of her testosterone testing, which in the end was way over the levels that she was supposed to have in her blood. But it all seemed to really center on one particularly bad Planned Parenthood site, because when she went to another Planned Parenthood site, it seemed, as far as she was saying, that things improved greatly. They did have a mix-up in terms of scheduling her for the wrong type of appointment, so she wasted a day, but that can happen maybe at the DMV even. So, that happens. I think Planned Parenthood is a lot cheaper, probably not free, but yeah. So it's a lot cheaper probably than going to pay for a doctor on your own, and depending on if you have insurance and all this other stuff, it can be a heck of a lot of a problem, I would imagine. So there's that. I don't personally think that people make this big fuss about, there should be more hoops to jump through because this is a serious thing. It can affect your body permanently. So there should be more people who are asking you. They shouldn't just give you the hormones. And this is what she was saying. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think that's ridiculous. For one thing, having a tattoo, a facial tattoo in many parts of your body still can cause you, it's permanent. You have to go through, a whole bunch of laser treatment to get that. It's a hell of a lot more expensive to get off a tattoo than to get one on. It takes a lot more time, etc. Is anybody at the tattoo parlor asking you, are you sure? Do you really want this? Do you really want this on your face? Do you want this on your chest? Do you want this on your neck? No. So you say, oh, well, that's more serious. No, is it? Is it really more serious? Because when you have this tattoo that everybody could see, that you always have to be hiding, I don't know that it's more serious. Or is somebody testing you when you get into a 2-ton vehicle and drive at 70 something miles down the road? There's nobody there testing you every time you get in your vehicle. Yeah, it tests you once and that's it. When you have a human life in your hands, whether your own, there's nobody there with you holding your hands. Are you okay? Are you doing the right thing today? There's nobody there. There's just you and yourself with knives and drugs and everything there is in the world. And then when you decide or mistakenly have a child, who's there with you? Is anybody testing you to see if you are a good parent? And you have a human life in your hands. No, I don't think that they need to be making you jump through a bunch of hoops to inject something into your own body, seeing as you can just go down the street somewhere and get some heroin and inject that into your own body. Yeah, it's illegal, but you can do that anytime and nobody's stopping you. So to get testosterone to put inside of your body, maybe you should Google that stuff and spend some time. Because what she was saying is that she really decided that this was for her in the space of a couple of days, and then decided to start taking this testosterone, moved away from her family, etc., to a different area where she wouldn't have to go through, hey, my name used to be Ryan and now it's something else, or female to male. Next thing is, yeah, she clearly was kind of mixed up because she thought that transitioning would fix some of her problems, and it didn't fix many of her problems. As far as she's saying now, she wished she could be in between, just halfway, because some things she liked about being a man and some things she liked about being a woman, namely lack of periods, and she likes doing her makeup, etc. So I think she probably needs to Google some stuff, because I think you can take shots that will prevent your period for long periods of time. So she doesn't really have to go through that. And she's not interested in having kids. And she is an asexual, aromantic. So she doesn't want to have sex or do anything romantic, holding hands, kissing. She would just like a life partner who's a friend. And she could take shots for that, I think. And the thing is, she's only 21, so I mean, and she started this process at 18, I think. So yeah, I can totally relate to making missteps at that point, because, well, for one thing, there wasn't a lot of information when I was 18 that was as available as it is now. So I think people now, if they make a mistake, it's because they don't want to Google what they are interested in. Maybe they might Google it and spend a couple of days Googling, but really not get into it. And yeah, there probably aren't people like her coming out to share their experiences about this, because that's one of the things that she was saying, that when she was detransitioning, she didn't find as much information for trans men who were detransitioning. So her video should be, a useful resource for some English-speaking people who are detransitioning, or even English-speaking women who want to transition, to make sure that they know what it is that they want beforehand and what to expect. Because at the end of the day, this process is not going to change you. It's just taking hormones and maybe taking an operation. That isn't going to change you. Wherever you go, it's just going to be you, some extra hormones, and how you look. And that's not going to change the inside. I mean, listening to her, it was curious. She was asking herself, or saying to herself, my inner voice still feels like a woman. I don't know how she figured or what she figured was going to happen. But again, as an 18-year-old or 21-year-old, the way that the world is sold to us, I could understand how she might end up feeling like that. As if some outward thing could change her insides. No, most of these people who I hear become trans or are trans, they say that they were always a man. It's not like they were expecting the transition to change them, or they were always a woman. They are not expecting the transition to change them. The transition is reflecting how they already feel. And it's funny because I heard, Joe Rogan and one of his guests, they were mocking it, all right? I don't want to say that they were mocking it, but that's what they were doing. Because they were saying, like, trans woman was saying that I was already a woman, but the operation was going to, I hadn't had an operation to make me a woman. And they didn't seem to understand that. They were like, if you're already a woman, why do you need to change the outside? So that it would reflect how you feel about yourself. It's not that you need the operation to confirm it. But they seem to think that it had the tenets of a religion, because this person's saying they were already a woman, but they needed to change to be a woman. Yeah, they did. It's just like being a woman and still feeling that you need to put on makeup to be a woman, which is kind of like a little bit like how what Ryan Barnes seemed to feel like. So anyway, guys, you can wish me luck. You can like or unlike, comment, and maybe subscribe or share if you feel like it. But if you don't, you can always do nothing. Peace.